The movie is about seeing your children grow up so fast. That's the feeling that I wanted to capture. And oftentimes, strangely, fiction can be more truthful for your emotions than actually saying, hey, this is what happened to me, this is what happened, what I feel like for my daughter. I'm gonna use fictional characters, and it's weird, you can almost say it with more purity. These movies, they represent where I am at each moment. Unbreakable represents where I was, and Split represents where I was, and The Visit, and you name it. And then my father and mother who are getting, very old, and what do I feel about that when I go there and the roles have switched? We just keep moving so fast through life. You make all of these problems for them, all of the physical problems, all of the thriller problems, all of the personal problems, and the answer is ultimately just being present. If you can, for one moment in your freaking life, just be present, just right there, it's so freeing. That's the goal of the movie. In real life, my children have grown up now, and they're adults, and they're amazing artists, and I had a chance to bring Ashana with me to second unit direct on the film.
Or just be ready to rock and roll.
All right, guys, are you ready?
All right, bring them.
Can we go back to one a little slower than that? Okay, let's do it. Let's start the zoom.
And
action! So I essentially grew up on sets, grew up kind of looking over my dad's shoulder from the time I can ever remember. Like, there's many, many pictures of us together. So essentially I've grown up like kind of watching this experience, and this is the first time that we get to actually work together in a professional environment. I've worked on his show before, but this being his movie has been such a special experience for us. Learning how to support him in a professional sense and also in a familial sense, and it's a really beautiful thing.
I feel much better. Better than before.
And cut.
I started out kind of peering over his shoulder, over the monitor, or as he's looking at casting, or as he's talking about his script and development of the script. So in that sense, I've been very observational in all of his different movies. And now as I am sort of beginning my own career in film, he's asked me for more advice, and we have a lot of wonderful creative conversations.
And the whole idea of going to another place, leaving Philadelphia for the first time and going somewhere else, and especially going and being in an outdoor location and seeing if I could impose that formalism in an amorphous space like a beach. Leaving home to make a movie was scary for me, the idea of will I have the connection to the emotions and the bass, and will I feel secure enough to do kind of paint the painting in a confident way. And having Ashana there made me feel like I never left home.
There's 3 of us, so 3 sisters, and he just loves us so, so much and makes sure we know that all the time. And particularly with our creative endeavors or career things that we're learning and experimenting, they're like his own things. Like what we create is what he creates. So I think he feels very special when we create something to that level. It's a form of love.
I'm super close with my daughters, so they just make me happy. So it's like having her there was amazing. And then just to have her on one side of the beach shooting, second unit while I was shooting over here. And then at the end of the day, we would go and have dinner together, and kept me centered on the storytelling and all. And if you see the movie, there's so many of the shots that she shot. And then Salika wrote the song that the main character sings and through the piece.
Someday, no man you miss made in my name. There is no life I trade. You are my reason to remain.
my dad said he wanted it to be a romance, and he wanted it to kind of be about this tumultuous love that's like all encompassing, and kind of described to me the relationship that he wanted it to be. In a way, it's not super different, because I feel like in my own songs I draw on things that I'm reading or listening to or feeling or going through, so I was able to do that just with the movie. And the movie is so intertwined with our family and our lives that it felt very already connected to me. I didn't have to kind of force that in any way. It's an exaggeration of real life. It's not even science fiction. Like, one day is just an exaggeration of how it feels. It really does. Like, life goes by so fast. We should be treating it like we only have one day to live and experience all this stuff. To me, it's just like a metaphor for real life. It's not even science fiction in a way. It's such a beautiful and intriguing story, and it was kind of easy to kind of take that and write a song from it.
Always the kids in the movies that I make are reflective of the ages of my kids. So like in Signs, Abigail Breslin was 5 and Salika was 5. So like Abigail and Salika went trick-or-treating and on the set of Signs. And in Split, they're teenagers that get abducted that are, you know, late teens, and the girls were late teens at that point, and you know, everything kind of mimics where they're at. That's just where my emotion is. That's where, when I, you know, go home and they tell their stories of heartbreak or this or troubles or their aspirations, I can't help but see it through their eyes.
But Cupid's an archer, his violent departure leaves us at the altar, wounded, weak, and ready to bleed. I'll wash away someday.
It is amazing to be a small part of it. Is amazing, and to feel like he respects, you know, me and my sister enough and the work that we do enough to kind of include it or incorporate it into his art, which is, you know, this movie is such a masterpiece, is like the highest form of like praise and approval that you could get from a father. Just to have him even want or even think to include us in this, I feel like for me that was a huge moment of, wow, my dad like really believes in me. Like, this is the highest praise that he could have ever given me, to include me in this.
When she was a little baby, she used to sing in the car, and we went, wow, one thing we know, she's not gonna be a singer, because she was so bad. She was a little baby, and now she's one of the most beautiful singers in the world. And I can't believe that I actually said those words, and then she grew up to be this thing. And that feeling that I just described in you of like, wow, your own children astonish you.